Did you just see what happened? Oh my goodness. Hi everyone, welcome to another video. As you can see, I'm ready to go with a makeup tutorial. I thought I would do a bit of a combination video today. We are going out for supper later with my son for his birthday. So I thought, well, I'm gonna be getting ready anyhow, so why don't we do a fun get ready with me at the same time? I also wanted to show, because you guys seem to really like that, where I'm showing products that I haven't used in a long time, and some of you may have them in your makeup collection. But there are a few products here that I'm using as my, I'm going to say, favorites for the last few months. But come on, I couldn't do a video without including a few new products that just recently launched at the drugstore. So I was super excited when I stopped in at the store and saw that they were available. And I'm also going to include one beautiful accessory piece that is coming along with me for our dinner. So stay tuned for that. So for the essence of time, I already did my eyebrows and I quickly threw on the Alter Ego. This is my eyeshadow base, just to prime my eyes before I put the eyeshadow on. So I do want to prep my lips before we start the makeup application, as I always do before we get going here. I'm going with my Lise Watier Lip Oil, one of my favorites. This is in the shade Cantaloupe. It's so hydrating and moisturizing on the lips. I just love it. By far one of my favorite lip oils that I have going right now. And I do want to get some of the skin prepped before we start the eyeshadow. So for a primer today, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. It seems like forever since I've used this product. I have this in the shade number 2, which is Fair Light. This was like one of my OG primers to use last year. It does come as a big, huge doe foot applicator, and I usually apply this using my fingers. It does give quite a bit of luminosity to the skin, and it was compared to the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, Hollywood Flawless Filter, when it came out. So if you're looking for a dupe, this is one of those more affordable products that really is just as good, in my opinion. I'm also going to go ahead and apply my color corrector before the concealer. So I'm going in with the Sigma. This is the Spectrum Color Correcting Duo. Now I have this in the shade Light Medium. So I just received an email that this was restocked. I think it was out of stock for quite some time. So if you are somebody that wanted to get your hands on it, I would say jump on it, because this sells out so quickly. It is a fabulous, fabulous color corrector. If you are somebody that needs to use color corrector, this is a great one. And what I usually do is I take both shades. So one is more of a peachy shade, and then one is more of a brightener. So I actually just take both of them and gently pat it right in where I am darkest in the hollow of my eye. Very like a creamy formula, but I love how it leaves my under eyes really hydrated. You can see on this side how well it does with taking that dark pigmentation away. So one of my all-time favorites for color correcting. So now that we're all prepped, skin's all prepped, ready to go, we're going to start with the eyeshadow. So I wanted to go in today with the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals palette. Again, it feels like forever since I've used this palette on my channel. I do use it a lot behind the scenes, but it's one of those really enjoyable, fun palettes. The color story is right up my alley. I love how they've laid out the palette that goes from like lighter shades to your darker shades. Now the shades don't have names to them, but they do have numbers. So I'll just kind of show you the numbers that I'm going to be using. So I'll first start off with this one right here. That's going to be my transition shade, and that is shade number 6. So it's really light, but you can kind of see it right there. And that's the sort of shade that I like using for my transition shade. It fills in all of those little areas where I might have like a few veins and stuff like that. It does a nice job of that. So I'm going to go in with my BK Beauty. This is the 212 brush. I always like using like a really fluffy brush, and it helps get the product all over the lid. And I take it right from my mobile lid right up to my brow bone. Gives a nice wash of color. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I like using the little tape hack, and then I find the eyeshadow just doesn't go down as far and make my eye droopy. Next, we're going to go in with this shade right here. It's shade number 13. And it's a nice rich, like a chocolate brown. And for brush, I'm just going to use the Angie Hot and Flashy, the A502 brush. It has a little bit of a, it's a fluffier brush, but it is firm. So that really does help get into my crease area. So I'm just going to apply it right on the outer end and then right up along above my crease. So I hope everybody is doing well. My husband and I actually just got back from, I'm going to say a mini, it was more of a staycation. We didn't go far, but it was just far enough that it felt like we were away, and we were celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary. It was quite lovely. He loves doing photography, so he was kind enough to do some pictures for me. I think that just gives a nice wash of color. And then I just want to brighten up the inner eye area just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's like a really nice cream color, but it has like an ever so, like a very tiny bit of shimmer in it. And this is what I'm going to apply with my finger, just in the inner corner and about halfway. See how it just kind of lightened that whole area up. And then what I do is I go back in with that BK Beauty fluffy brush, and very lightly, I just want to make sure everything is cohesive and blending together. Eyeshadow, I find, is always about blending, and because you don't want to leave like any harsh lines or anything like that. They're just a nice little subtle wash of color, nothing too dramatic. And then before I remove the tape, I do want to do my eyeliner, because I find that does give me that little bit of a guide. So we're going in with the Kosas Soul Gazer in the shade Allure. I've really been enjoying using this one lately. The effort it takes to put it on, like it glides on. So that's the shade right there. The other thing that I like about this eyeliner is right here, it has like a little bit of a grip. So you can hold, it's nice, and your hand isn't, like your fingers aren't going to slip. So I like that feature of it. And I usually start about halfway. I usually just do little short strokes. I don't usually do one continuous line. I find there's more control that way, and the line is easier and not as harsh looking. And then I use that guide if I want to do just a tiny little bit of a wing. I'm not usually like a big dramatic wing person, but I do like a little tiny one every once in a while. But I absolutely suck at doing like freehand wings. Don't even ask me to do that. Yeah, that is not in my makeup routine. And a few other features about this pencil that I like is it's like retractable. And then on the other side of the pencil, a couple of other things that it has is it has its own little sharpener, and it has a smudger. So what I do with the smudger is I try and soften the line up so it's not looking so bold. And it's nice because it does give you time to work with it. And then for tight lining today, I can never go wrong with this waterproof eyeliner. And it's actually just the Sephora brand, the 12-hour color, but it is the shade Tiramisu. So the shades look very similar. This is actually Tiramisu on this side, and that's the Soul Gazer on that side. So very similar colors, but I like this formula because it is waterproof, and so it does help stay in the upper waterline. And I just try and get in between my lashes, just fills in all those little gaps and makes the eyelashes look a little bit fuller. Hopefully you can see on this side here how much fuller the lashes look compared to this side. I haven't done this side yet. So I've removed the tape, and we'll come back to the eyes in a few minutes, but I do want to start now on my complexion products. So when I want a beautiful, flawless foundation look, I always grab my Nars. This is the light reflecting foundation. I have this one in the shade Light 4, which is shade DeVille. So it does come as a pump, and I usually just use one little pump. I find that does my whole face. So usually about that much does me. The combination of these two products is just lovely. Is one of those type of foundations that it's not overly glowy. It gives my skin a nice radiance, but with the assistance of that e.l.f. Flawless Filter, the combination is just marvelous. It's fantastic. When I use this foundation, I like using a sponge. So this is just my rougher sponge. I find this gives me a medium coverage, but you can build it up. But I like how it gives me a natural finish to the skin. It is one of those type of foundations that has like skincare ingredients in it. So over time, it's supposed to improve your skin. Now I am using usually so many different types of foundations that I can't really say yes or no to that because I don't use it continuously. It's great for all skin types, even sensitive skin. And I find it gives my complexion a little bit of like a blurring effect to it, which is nice. And at least on my skin, it almost looks better throughout the day. Like as it wears, it looks really nice and it doesn't oxidize on me. You can see how well it blends out, looks beautiful. But like I was saying, the combination of the two, like how glowy my skin looks. And this, like I said, it's not a glowy foundation. It leaves my skin with a like a satiny type of look. All right, so all the foundation is on. The other day, I was doing one of my favorite things that I like to do, and that's walking around the cosmetic department of the drugstore and looking around just seeing what's new and exciting out there and what can I purchase and to show you guys. I was wanting to see if there was like a new concealer out from any of the different brands. I didn't see one, but what I did come across was a concealer that I haven't used in forever. Like I'm saying years. So I picked up the Maybelline. This is the eraser concealer. It's that one, it's like the OG one. It has the little sponge tip on the top. I picked it up in the shade 110. Okay, it's hard to look through the packaging. I'm like, I don't know. Does that kind of look like my perfect shade match? We'll see. This was like one of my favorites. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm using so many different concealers. It's one of those ones that kind of got forgotten about. I know that there is some viewers out there that probably don't like the sponge tip. I actually don't mind it, but from what I remember, great coverage. It doesn't crease on me. It's affordable. And it looks like they may have changed the formula maybe a little bit. I don't know. The packaging looks different than what I remember. Now, what I do recall is I have to twist it up to get the product to start coming through top. All right, so it finally started coming through. There you go. On the top, I'm going to just dot it. Now, I'm not going to use this as the applicator. I'm going to use my fingers. I do recall it gave me more of like a medium coverage. This stuff, from what I can see, it still has like quite a variety of shades. I changed my mind actually. I'm going to go in with my Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush. Okay, so I'm just going to tap it in. Oh yeah, that's kind of what I remember now. Yeah, I can see that it's a creamier formula, but my under eye is looking hydrated. Yeah, that's nice. Yep. Good old Maybelline concealer. And it does give me, I'm going to say more of a medium coverage. It's definitely not like a full coverage concealer. I always go in after with my sponge just to kind of marry the two up between foundation and concealer. So there's no harsh lines. Now we're going to go back into the eyes, and I'm going to use that shade right there, that chocolate brown shade. And the BK Beauty, this is the 204 brush. It's a very precise brush, and it's perfect for doing under your eyes with eyeshadow. I'm just going to run it right along the bottom. Just a subtle line that I'm creating, nothing too bold. And I am just going to add a little bit of brightness to my bottom waterline. And I'm going to use the Sephora, the similar waterproof pencil, but this one is in the shade Coconut. And then I'm just going to curl my lashes. I think that's so important. It just gives the eyelashes a little bit of extra curl, especially if you have any issues with shorter lashes or thinner lashes. And then one of the mascaras I've been loving recently is the Milani, the highly rated anti-gravity mascara. Using it nonstop. The formula is fantastic. It gives me volume. It gives me lengthening. I love the brush. It has like a hourglass shape and really gets into all of these lashes. I always start at the base and wiggle my way up. It's one of those mascaras that I never have any issues with it flaking on me, like wears all day. And the wand helps get into all this little corner here where I have tiny, tiny little lashes. So that's just basically one coat. All right, so now on to the cheeks. And we're going to use the NYX, the Buttermelt Bronzer. I have this one in the shade Butta Biscuit. Now, if you saw the first time I used this bronzer, my goodness, I didn't realize how pigmented it was. So I'm trying it, after this, I'm trying one of their other products that just recently came out. So I'm curious to see whether it's going to be as pigmented. It's quite a deep shade. And then what I discovered with this product is you don't need a lot on your brush. Trust me. So this is the Angie Hot and Flashy, the A507 brush. This is her like a blush brush, but I like to use it also for bronzer. And when I say you just need a little bit, really, you just like seriously go like that. You don't need a lot. Very, very lightly tap it in. Like you saw how much I put on that brush, and look at it's how much it deposits on my cheek. Incredible. I take it right back into my hairline, but this is really, really buttery. A fantastic formula. I usually take a little bit above and do around my hairline. So the blush line just recently arrived in Canada of that same formula of NYX. So this is the NYX Buttermelt Blush, and I have this one in the shade You Know Butta. Now it does have quite a big shade range, and there was actually a few of them were already sold out. So I grabbed this one. It looked quite nice and pink and pretty. It has like more of like a peachy undertone to it. Oh, that is very, very, that looks gorgeous. It is actually quite a peachy shade. That's really lovely. Okay. So for this, I think I'm going to use my Sigma. This is that newer one that I was just sent. It is the F43 brush. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the bronzer, and I'm barely going to put my brush in here. Okay, you can kind of see I don't have a lot on there. I'm going to tap it off even. Oh my goodness. So what you will see quite quickly is that it is just like the bronzer, very, very pigmented. So this will last you a long time because you don't need a lot of this. Wow. Holy smokes, you guys. And then a little trick, if you ever feel that you've put too much on, just use your sponge, just tap it in. It'll lift up some of the product. Tone it down a bit for you. Wow, that's quite lovely. What I'm shocked at is it's a powder blush. I can see that, you know, getting this type of result from a liquid blush, but from a powder blush, holy smokes, that's fabulous. And then a highlighter I haven't used in forever is the Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Mesmerize. This is the Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter. And when you do touch it, it really does feel like silk. The formula is amazing. For today, I'm going to use the BK Beauty, the 113 brush. It has a little bit of precision to it. So I'm just going to use that as highlighter brush today. I always tap it off because this one can get a little bit bold. I think I had this last year as one of my favorite highlighters. Just to get some luminosity to the cheekbones. And just to tone down some of the glowiness that I got going on today, we're going to go in with the Physicians Formula, the Butter Believe It face powder, and the BK Beauty. This is the 102 brush. Love this brush because it covers a lot of the face area. And I'm very, very lightly just putting it in this area here where I feel I'm a little bit too glowy. And then up on my forehead. I'm just going to put a tiny bit right under here to set the concealer. Just toned it down a little bit. And then I picked up a new lip liner. So this is by the Maybelline brand, and it is the Lifter Liner. And I did see this one. It came out a few months ago, but it just launched here in Canada. The shade I have is Out of Line, and there was a whole bunch of shades already sold out. So that's why I just kind of picked this one. Now what I did see was the hype with this lip liner is it is an easy glide. It has hyaluronic acid and jojoba oil in it. It claims it's supposed to be long lasting. So I do just kind of overline my lip, my top lip a little bit. And in the center, I just overline it a little bit right in the center there. And it gives the illusion of a bit of fullness. And I always fill in my lip. It is very, like it's gliding on quite nicely. It is a pencil that you will have to sharpen. It's not retractable. That looks quite nice. I could probably even just get away with using the lip liner and a gloss, but I did pick out a couple of shades of lipstick and I'm gonna decide which one to use today. So the lipstick that I'm going to choose is between this is the L'Oreal, the Intense Volume. These are like a matte formula. One is a mauve shade and one is going to be more of a nude shade. So I'll swatch them and then I'll decide which one I want to use. These are so comfortable on the lip. Even though they are a matte, they don't dry the lip out at all. I love the slim design, fits on the lips quite well. So those are the two shades there. I think I'm going to, now that I'm looking at them swatched, I think I'm going to gravitate more to the nude shade, especially since I have color with that lip liner. I mean, honestly, what we could do is just combine the two. I do that actually quite a bit. I mix and match my lipsticks. You'd be surprised of the perfect lip shade you can get with doing that. That looks quite nice. I like that. I'll have the actual shade names listed down in the description box for you. And then it wouldn't be complete without using this wonderful new accessory piece that I recently received from Teddy Blake. I took this with me on our little mini vacation and fell in love with it. So it's the Teddy Blake Gigi Palmelatto. This is the 11-inch. There is different versions of this similar, like a similar type of pattern, but I really, really liked the black and yellow. I thought this would be so beautiful for the fall. And this isn't my first Teddy Blake bag. All their bags are made with premium Italian leather and they smell fabulous. Like if you are somebody that loves the smell of leather, oh my goodness, you will absolutely love them. One of the things that they do come with is their own bag. So on the times that you're not using it, you can just stick it into this beautiful bag. Why I really like this one is it almost has like little locking features on the design. So here, like if you're ever worried about somebody getting into your purse or your bag, so all I do is I lift up these little flaps and then you lift up these two flaps here. And that just opens the bag up. Lots of room inside. And it also has a strap. So if you're somebody that likes to wear your purse over your shoulder, they do have that accessory piece. I personally just like to have it with the handles. And what I think that most people would like about the brand, they don't have that hefty price tag that other luxury brands have. Some of their handbags actually start under $300, whereas other luxury brands are probably well over $1,500, $2,000. And some of the ways that they're actually able to do that is they don't have a lot of costly marketing, retail markups. So they're able to offer these beautiful luxury handbags for like 70 to 90% compared to other brands. If you actually go onto their website, they have so many designs, beautiful shades, so many different styles. Each one of them is such high quality. It's all the little attention to details, like I had mentioned, right? Like this is such a great little feature, having those clasps that nobody can go inside of your bag. I'll throw up a few pictures of where we were getting ready to go out for dinner. What I'll do is I'll list all of their information down below, their website. And right now, if you're interested in this particular one, it is on sale. They are having like a sale on their website right now. And if it's not the timing isn't right for you, just remember Christmas is coming up. So this would be a fabulous Christmas gift. And thank you very much to Teddy Blake for partnering with me on this portion of the video. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly pop on. I know you guys like it when I show you what it looks like in natural light because unfortunately the studio lights just sometimes don't look as nice as like natural lighting. So I always do like to show you guys what this looks like. So we're going to be getting ready to head out here pretty quick. Like I mentioned in the video, we're going to be going out for dinner. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration. I forgot to mention to you guys, another place that you can follow if you're ever interested to see what I'm wearing, just in a location where you can see the like makeup I'm wearing, that sort of thing. I do post things on LTK. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's It's the LTK app that you can use. And I do post actually very different stuff on there than I do on my YouTube channel and my Instagram, that sort of thing. So I'll have that listed down in the description box as well. Like I mentioned, I will have all of the Teddy Blake information down in my description box if you're interested in purchasing your own handbag. This was super fun. Thank you for getting ready with me today. Like I said, I can't wait to go and spend some quality time with my family tonight, especially because my son doesn't live at home anymore. Everything that I did use today will be listed and linked down in the description box for you. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!